The second thing I wanted to explore is the challenge of whether we're simply moving chairs around on the deck of our infrastructure Titanic. And in that regard, I have a chart I'd like to show you. And this chart, back here somewhere, it shows that the President's budget is taking a total of $280 billion out of infrastructure, out of the Tiger grants, $5 billion, out of the Highway Trust Fund, CBO estimate $164 billion, out of New Starts, almost $20 billion, out of Amtrak, $7.6, Army Corps of Engineers, $14 billion, CDBG, $30 billion, home grants, incredibly important to so many areas, for housing, $9.5 billion, public housing capital, $19. The economic development is rich and so important in rural areas, $2.5 billion, aviation, $3.6, rural water, $5.1. So these total $280 billion. And so if we take we take and look at what's going on here, we're cutting $280 billion for infrastructure here, and we're adding $200 billion over here. That's a net loss on infrastructure. How does that fulfill the vision of an aggressive infrastructure program?
Well, I think there's a disagreement about the purpose and use of federal funding, which is obviously a discussion point for us and why we're all here. But the numbers that you mentioned are compared to 2018 fiscal year. If you look at 2017, it's actually not a cut. 2018 went up, and therefore that's how you consider it a cut. But nevertheless, the FAST Act increases the mandatory portion by more than 4%. And so overall, the DOT budget is pretty much the same in 2019 as well. And the $200 billion has been moved, has been inserted into the infrastructure proposal, which is in another part of the overall federal budget.
So thank you for your answer. I'm not persuaded by it. It appears to me we're not making the type of commitment we're pretending to make. And I must say, and I'll just close with this because my time's up, how quickly it passes, is that folks back home are saying, now let me get this straight. We take our resources and we build something. The federal government puts in a tiny amount of money and then they take credit for it. This is the 80-20 versus the 20-80 split that we heard previously. And they're saying, well, we simply don't have the 80%. So we will not build under this structure. And quite frankly, they consider it a bit of a farce to put in a little tiny bit of money and then claim credit for the entire thing. So a lot of concern that this isn't really going to fly in terms of motivating or enabling infrastructure that we desperately need.
Thank you, Senator Merkley.